Welcome 5th grade to our week 9 video of our number talk series. We're focusing specifically with fractions on a number line this week. I'm going to show you how I look at it. This is not the only way to look at it because remember, it's not just about placing the numbers in order on the number line, but also proportionally making sure that they're also placed. How I like to break it down is I like to say, well, we have a beginning number of 0, an ending number of 2. Okay, what's the difference from 0 to 2? It's a total distance of 2. So we know that halfway would be 1. Halfway between 1 and 2 would be 1 and 1/2. Halfway between 0 and 1 would be 1/2. And then from that, go back and say, okay, well, did we cover any of the numbers? Well, wait, we did. We got the 1, the 1/2, and we got the 1 and 1/2. We didn't get the 3/4 or 1/8. Well, with the 1/2, we know 1/2 is the same as 2/4. We know that 1 is the same as 4/4. So that 3/4 would fall halfway between 1/2 and 1. Now, within the same thought process, we know halfway between 0 and 1/2 is 1/4. And we're trying to find 1/8. So halfway between there would be our 1/8. That's one way to look at it. Taking that same philosophy, we have a starting number of a dead of 2, an ending number of 2. We know that's a total distance of 4. So we say, well, halfway is 2. So what's 2 units away from a dead of 2? What's 2 units away from 2 would be 0. Then we could also break that down. 0 to 2 is 1. 0 to dead of 2 is a dead of 1. And then we can go back and say, well, what numbers do we find now? Well, we actually only found the 0. We didn't have to have the dead of 1 and 1 on our line. But it helps us organize our other values. Because then, as we're looking, we can say, well, halfway between 0 and dead of 1/2 is negative 1/2. We know our 1 and 3/4. Well, that would be 1 and 1/2. So our 1 and 3/4 would fall there. And then our 3/8, well, we know 1/2 is 4/8. So 1, 2, 3. So that would be our 3/8. Fall there. And then we already have our negative 1/2. So that would be our numbers. The last one, we're going from a dead of 3 to 2. So that has a total distance of 5. So that would be 2.5 units away. So the middle, 2.5 units away, would be a debt of 1/2. So that's there. Then we're trying to find, well, if we broke this up, and we thought about it, we say, okay, well, we have 2, we'd have 1, we'd have 0, right? Dead of 3, dead of 2, dead of 1. So there's our 0, there's our dead of 1 on either side of our negative 1/2. So in that way, when we go back to put in the 1 and 3/4, we know, well, if that's 1 and 1/2, 1 and 3/4 would fall there. Our negative 3/2 would be found outside of our number line. And then our dead of 7/8, well, would fall roughly there. Right there. Would be our dead of 7/8. So again, if this is confusing to you at all, please, 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 think about how you could break it up into, also thinking about you could use a unit bar and break the unit bar up and let that represent. So say, okay, I go from 0 to 2. So then we have how many unit bars? We have 2 total unit bars. Then we can break those unit bars into halves. and then break those up into fourths, and then so on and so forth. So there's a few different ways to do this. If this is confusing to you, please come see Mr. Ellaby or come see myself so we can give you some clarity. Enjoy. Thank you.